Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the real world. We're in Sydney's TAFE facility, media facility, Z Block. And the story we're talking about today, that, we talk about the Aquarian age, we talk about the answers to life. Could the environmental reality we see today be more perceivable to people than any religion? Now, for this project, we've got different aspects. For this theme, we looked at Australian data, and it said that hundreds of thousands of people are actually leaving the Christian religion, and that half of Australia doesn't even have a religion. Now, like I said, what we're talking about is our thinking the new religion. Now, we went out in the field, we went out in the streets, we talked to a guru, we talked to a reverend, we talked to people in the street, and we've squashed it down to a few words. I'm going to throw a few words at you, and I'm going to trust your minds, your fresh minds, the way you're looking at the world, the good and the bad, that our minds can perceive what's going on, and that's very, very important. Anyway, now, John Lennon said that, he had the song Mind Games. He said that thinking is everything and that love is the answer. We know that. And anyway, so we look at our thinking. What's the meaning of life? We've got Amy, we've got Ben,
we've got
Jeremy.
I'd rather not go first.
What's that?
I'd rather not go first. I think I'd like to open the floor
Well, it's a heavy question, but
I nominate Jeremy.
Just do it quickly. We've only got a short amount of time.
It's easy.
I have never seen Jeremy laugh.
What do you think the meaning of life is? Just do it in a couple of words. Amy.
So, meaning of life, I would say...
One word.
I guess it's different for everyone, but I would say it's like a purpose of one's life, really. Like, meaning of life can differ in everyone's mindset and all that, but the purpose, the goal that you're going for is the meaning that creates, and also, it comes back to life, I guess. I don't know if that really answers your question.
No, that's okay. It's just, like I said, I'm only interested for my project in just what people think. I trust people's thinking. Ben,
I would not.
Just a few, just your thoughts on life. I mean, you're living it.
Pretty much.
You wake up. Sometimes you don't always feel great. Sometimes it's on. It's like David Bowie said. He said, I know when to go out and I know when to stay in. We know what's going on. We trust ourselves. So
genius.
So what do you think?
I don't know, to be honest. I think maybe we're not supposed to know. I just try and laugh rather than cry. I think that's the best thing. We're all gonna die, so you might as well enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, we know. See, our intelligence. We've been given some type of intelligence.
Yeah, the hourglass.
And maybe that's what the theme's about. Our intelligent minds are more easily able to perceive the reality. We've learnt more. We're watching the sky dying. Seeing is believing, but people are doing something about it. I was mentioning before, I saw a program last night where they said that the last few years has been a dark period. I don't know if it's been a dark period. I think in 21, about March, everybody stopped using their cars and the pollution rate went down 40%. I mean, we're being told that it's 30 to 50 years, but we saw instantly. We perceived it. What's the other thing? We know the world's not as big as what it was. The whole world was wearing masks. Our food, we know how important that is now. So, these realities, these complexities, our minds really are very, very important with everybody to perceive it like a jigsaw. And we can work it out. Okay, let's throw a few other things. Okay, we've got a world.
One more. I would
Jeremy.
really like to hear the third.
Yes, we do.
Well, if you're like me, Ben said laugh and cry, or you could do like I laughed and cried at the same time, just 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah. That's what happened.
So, what is the question, Tony? You're talking about the environment. Now you're talking about reality. Which one are we asking?
Well, I'm talking about the environment. I mean, we are in the environment. I mean,
yes.
Actually, I was doing some environmental studies years ago. very good teacher, very methodically, getting out in the field, testing koalas, all this sort of stuff. And then he said one thing one time.
What is this evil? What are you doing?
No, what I'm saying, he said that...
How do you test a koala?
He was talking about the human race. He was saying, well, it must be right because it's a part of nature. So he was saying that, okay, you think we're destroying the planet, but it must be right because it's a part of nature. I thought that sort of stuck with me. Anyway, let's move on. Let's just get this out of the way. Everybody's got to catch their buses. Okay, a world in crisis. Things we've never faced before. So, environmental management, social complexity. So, that question again, a world in crisis. So we're in crisis. Just what do you think about the world the way it is at the moment?
I just...
Just a few words, it doesn't have to be heavy.
It's very hot today. Yeah. I think this is such a very hard question to answer, Tony. It's just, what's the thing?
That's all right. Okay, what do you reckon, Ben? Is it a complex world? World in crisis?
Definitely, of course. We're in a massive crisis. We're facing the end of civilization unless we leave the planet.
What, do you really believe that? It's the end of civilization?
Well, the climate change is going to make life inhabitable, and as species die and waters rise.
So you don't think seeing is believing, that once we see something, that's when we believe?
Well, you can't go to the Antarctic and look at the icebergs and then, try and will them back into existence. I mean, seeing is believing. I guess so, when the water rises. Sorry.
Yeah.
I would say, so my view on the world, right, and the crisis, yeah? So in my own eyes, I have a pretty dark mindset compared to other people, I've realised, but I think the world is quite a crooked place, honestly. Yeah, I think the world is quite a crooked place, as in, all the crisis going on. There's always, it's inevitable, something's always going on, one after another, climate's changing.
Can your mind handle that?
Sorry?
Can your mind handle that?
I mean what is there more to do, It's not like we can just break down. We have to go along with the whole environment, our world, so we don't get left behind. Because if you get left behind, it'll probably be a lot harder to get back up with them.
Okay, let's go back to what our project's about. We've got different aspects. We've got someone focusing on international religion, Hinduism, Islamic, who's filming.
You would say.
That's all right.
Decline in religion
Now,
overall. I'm not
taking
a specific...
No, that's okay.
Certain religion.
Okay, now tell me something. Why are hundreds of thousands of people leaving the Christian religion? Why is half Australia just going it alone? I mean, that's the point. I mean...
Well, faith is, full of corruption, isn't it? So, there's been a lot of damage and trauma through religion,
Is religion important? Do we need it? I mean, it's a guide. Do we need it?
Well... in my own perspective, I'm an atheist myself, but I do believe that, obviously I'm supportive of all kind of religions and stuff. I believe it's kind of like a structure to them, and it gives them that faith and positivity and kind of that order in life, which is what they're seeking for. That's the reason why I feel like religion got put place in the first place. But in my thinking, I need to see it to make myself believe it.
It came from a long time ago, but I'll elaborate on that before we go. Let's make it very clear here. I think the greatest guru was Jesus Christ, because he said, you won't have any love unless you're attached to this planet, unless you understand the truth in your mind and you actually act upon it. But anyway, look, first of all, I was going to say some of these words I'm coming from came from a reverend from King's Cross who, he's doing a lot of good. Also the heroin addicts there, helping them out and all that sort of stuff. And so he just said some great things. Anyway, look, do we go through that? Let's just move on a little bit here just quickly. And it seems like society needs intellectual values before we can belong in community. This is from the Reverend. This is what he's saying. He's saying that we need to be propped up and we need to be a certain thing. Do you think that's true, or is that happening? He's saying that you need to have qualifications and status
before
you can belong in within a community. Within the community, he's saying it's changed. He's talking about the fact that people are moving away. He's answering that question. Why are people moving away?
As in the community, the religious community, you mean?
Say that again?
The religious community. You need some sort of qualifications.
No. What I'm saying is that he's answering that question, what we said about the Australian Bureau of statistics saying that, people, they've actually, the data's saying that people are moving away. And so we've put that question to him. And he's saying that, it seems like we need to have a lot more to be part of a community. So he's there saying that we need to have those guidances from Christian, but he's saying that people are moving away because they need to have this status, this changing status. And, I'll talk about things like money and stuff like that. Anyway, is that one a little bit heavy for you guys? Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Failing to get together.
No, it's a perfect question. I would really
unless you want to speak about something. Failing to get together and have healthy dialogue. Are we failing to talk?
I think sometimes we fail to talk, especially online. I think there's a lot of people who fight and argue. Yeah, I'd say. It's
hard to describe some stuff with like words as well in the moment, I feel like, even though there's a lot of vocabularies out there.
Yeah. Eventually, do we get it out though when we start arguing so say that again, Amy, pardon me?
I said I guess it depends on the situations. Some people in those type of situations you wouldn't be able to get your words out as much as you're describing it in your head. Even though you have as much vocabulary as we do in our English language, it's sometimes hard to compress all that in one sentence and then say it. So I guess in that sort of sense, it's hard to, communicate sometimes.
But you know what? I mean, look, we've got frontline media people coming up here. You guys are the future. And
Rising
What have we just had? We've just had podcasts.
Call me Ziggy.
They actually caught a murderer.
Sorry.
We had a podcast in America that freed a man after 22 years. We're talking about, all of this mishmash. We're not getting that. But wow, what a time, what a time where people are coming together, producing all of this magnificent, snazzy stuff, and authority is being held accountable, being questioned. So anyway, okay, let's move on with that.
But it's sort of like a catch-22 because as much as technology is linking everyone worldwide and making communication so much easier, the sort of self-obsession or obsessive nature of humans means we're interacting less, even though we, in a meaningful way. So it's like when you walk down the street and you see everyone on their phone, and it's you're all communicating, but it's not really a back and forth anymore so much. It's more about this is me doing this, this is me.
Is it though? This is what I'm saying, the complexity, maybe our minds being, not so much religion, I can't really call it that. It's more the reality of truth. Maybe we can perceive it you know how busy it is here in Sydney, in Railway Square. There's so much going on there. But it's pretty exciting too, everybody's doing something, everybody's learning something and something comes out of it. Suddenly this mash of cauldron of everybody's minds, this is what I'm saying. This is the question. Let's just go back to that question just one more time. The Aquarian age, well, okay, 60s, they kumbaya, kundalini, drugs, well, I think the Aquarian age is more looking at could the environmental reality that we have each day be more perceivable to people? The fact is, okay, we've had the guidance. We know that we have to have love. We know we need to have integrity. But, then basically a religion. Anyway, let's just go down the list here. Are we getting together, multicultural values, multi-expressional community? Let's forget that one. We can edit that one. Okay, values around money and wealth. Okay, we've got a lot of, everything's about, buying a house, $2 million here, $3 million here. What's a unit now? I think that's going over $1 million, isn't it? Is it just that? Remember, this is from the Reverend from King's Cross. What, are we just obsessed with money and wealth? But there's got to be more to it. Everybody's doing something, aren't they? It's not just about money.
I feel money is a necessity, it's an essential. That's what we get food, shelter and everything from. But people take it to the next level. People use it as status, literally you'll get seen as looking better if you have money, if you come from money. So I guess in that sense, people would want money more than just for the essential needs and kind of stuff.
That's a big issue too. We all see that.
Also, I don't think we should take money away. That's not what I'm saying either. Even though it's a bad thing, it's a an order. If money is that revolves around the place, that's what keeps our world in shape. you know? So like I feel like if that loses it, then like so much crime will happen, you know, just like stuff that will just like, you know, that hasn't happened before will just escalate. So in that sense, money needs to be here to keep in order,
organises things.
but it's also getting to the point where it's like going out of hands in their own way.
But at the same time, if there was no money, there would be no reason to do crime, you know, because everyone's needs would be met. Everyone would have housing.
I knew you were going to be a good.
Yes, but now that we are in a world where we know money, it's hard to take it away. You're talking about a situation where money didn't exist at all at all times, so that we wouldn't even have that mindset in the first place. But now that we do have money, we know the feeling of having money. We can't take it away now.
The feeling of corruption.
Exactly.
Okay, dialogue around world peace. Well, you know, I mean, can we lay that one out? That's pretty important piece. I mean, we're looking at Ukraine. I mean, they're killing babies. You know, they talk about letting off a bomb. Could happen. You know, people can be so out of touch with what the importance of love. When I say love, I'm talking about just being truthful and the fact that, you know, we don't want to blow people up. So dialogue where the world peace. I mean, do we address that? It seems like we have short memories, don't we? I mean, we've got this massive war happening. He's just going full on. He's just, you know. Are we addressing things or not?
I guess not. I would say if we're in a war, I would say that the dialogue has broken down. I think it's the ideologies
Yeah.
tend
I
to
guess,
last
like-
longer than dialogue.
Yeah, like power overpowers, like overwhelms the peace in a lot of places, you know, like for example, the Ukraine example you brought up, like Russia is just like so like, you know, power hungry, and they're trying to be like, oh, I want more lands, more people, and then they like sacrifice the peace over that. And I feel like that kind of mindset is not very uncommon these days,
Well,
which
I mean,
is
we've got a 70-year-old man running Russia, and I sort of think, well, hasn't this guy learned anything in life? I mean, even his own people are leaving the country, you know. But anyway, what do you reckon? Anything in there, Ben? Or? There's only a few more, and we can get going home. It is the end of our studies here.
I really don't know enough to
Yeah,
say.
that's all right,
Like,
that's
it's
okay.
pretty evil, the whole thing.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But that's been his sort of career, hasn't it? So.
Yeah, it's happening. People are still spiritual. He said that people are still spiritual. He said I remember when we interviewed that reverend, he said that, you know, the religions used to actually guide us, but now people are more spiritual. They still go inside. And I actually believe that. Needs some identity and belonging. But yeah, are we still spiritual? When I say spiritual, I mean, you know, do we see there's there's something great happening here?
I'd like to think so.
Maybe. I mean, Amy said she's an atheist, so I guess.
But that's different to spirituality.
Would you say?
Yeah,
Well,
because
this is the
I
point I'm
don't-
saying, the reality.
I don't see religious and spiritual as the same. You get what I'm saying? I just don't have a religion. I don't have like an above that I follow, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, an
like,
external and outside.
yeah, like I'm not against it, but like also I feel like the part of like the why religious is declining is because, as you said, so many people used to be religious, very passionate towards that. They try pass that on to their kids, but like forcing them doesn't, it just like kind of like discourages them in a way. It will put them off it. You have to find your own religion. You have to find your own reason to why you want to believe that and believe whom, you know?
I have to say the data also, it's more complex than that. There's multicultural stuff coming in, immigration and things like that. I mean, we just tried to keep the scope. It's so heavy, you know, when we talk about religion. Since you mentioned religion, I mean, actually, one guy that said something I'll mention later on. But, you know, yes, yeah. Anyone else want to make a comment on that there? Or actually, this is interesting here.
Well, hey.
No.
Yeah?
I think it's. I think maybe people are leaving religion for the spiritual aspect. Maybe they feel it's less forceful. Maybe less rules in spirituality. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think that could be why.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the guru that talks interesting. We'll just go through it. Identity and belonging. Okay, well, that's another thing. Okay, guru from a Hindu temple. We need to be more spiritually educated. Now, what does that mean? Do we need to be spiritually educated?
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I think maybe.
That's all right.
I don't know if maybe they teach religion in school anymore. It's been a while. Maybe I think if someone wants to, they're free to do it. I don't know if you should
Well, anyway, interesting. He said we need to become inspired and purified. What does that mean? Does anyone?
Did you ask the guru?
Well, the way I see it is that I don't, being purified is, I'm not going to smoke. I don't feel like losing a lung, or just like I said, coming back to the reality of thing, that clarity. Maybe that, if we look at that there, inspired and purified. I mean, it's just eating good food, and that's what I'm saying.
I guess also for purified, like living the life that you think is right. Not
Yeah.
even just like actual physical health,
Yes.
but like your mind as well. Like
you sort of
going
know.
by your morals, going by your values. I guess that's my definition of like purifying yourself. So maybe he means like spiritually in that way.
Yeah.
I could have a bag full of cheeseburgers, like a pack of ciggies in my mouth and a bottle of vodka. But if I'm doing really well and nice things and helping someone across the road and being a decent person, I might feel fairly purified in my existence.
Yeah, there's something in that, I suppose. Okay, practice religion properly and worshipping. They think that we, need to worship. Worship. I mean, we'll just breeze over that one quickly. But anyway, I think we mentioned that word before.
That's just like what do you call it when people believe in I can't even think of the word. When like good luck and bad luck. What do you call that?
Karma.
No, not karma.
Yin and yang.
No, come on. We can edit this. I need this.
No, well,
word.
that's right. That's
Very
true.
good.
Like if you
Things.
walk under a ladder, you get 7 years
Yeah.
bad luck. Or what's that called?
I think look.
Come on.
See, the reason why
Black cat.
we're a group of 3 in this project. Mine is that the thinking thing. I think the
myth.
thinking is really a religion.
Thank
I'm going
you.
to say
A
it.
myth?
I'm
no,
going to
wait,
say it.
myth? Yeah.
A myth?
thinking-
No.
So a myth is like a dragon or something.
Anyway.
Well, black cats. are
Anyway, look, he's saying that we've
Moment.
become more clever now, that we need more information. We need to be more, people are more scientific, and they're moving away from religion because it's just not answering it, and people want to see a bit more truth. So do you agree with that? Or yeah, we've got a few more here. God is the source of he's saying that everything. This is interesting. He said that God is the source of everything.
Superstition. Thank you very much. It's
Oh.
a superstition.
All right.
Yeah,
Did you just Google it?
No, well, I tried
Yeah.
to look at a black.
He
ladder.
said
I mean,
God is the source of everything. It was one thing that he said that I thought was interesting. He said that the guru from the Hindu temple, he said that everything that we're doing, even now, is deeply
entrenched.
so out of our thinking that everything that is happening is happening as it was supposed to be. Now, I probably haven't explained that. So he's saying that on one hand he's saying that it's all happening and it's actually part of nature or God or whatever you want to say, that everything we do isn't just a haphazard thing. It's actually designed. It's actually as it's supposed to be. But on the other hand, he said the complexities of our lives, like working, making money and that, doesn't mean anything, that we have to actually drop all of our, our pressures because they mean nothing, to chase for money. And he said that, that we have to actually worship. So what do you think? We're living our lives. Is your life... Is your life? We got to edit it. Is your life important the way it's living, or do we have to give it up and go somewhere up on a mountain somewhere? And we
feel
have to
like-
sort of like forget that the Earth's got a hole and the environment, the
But
sky.
isn't the start of the question you talk about the Hindu and like the life being ordered or something?
What's that?
The start of the question doesn't seem to match up with the end of the
Oh,
question.
didn't it? Oh,
No.
okay.
So
no, he
are
was
we
saying
asking-
that. Okay.
So which one
I
are you
sort of
asking me
jumped
in
off my list
particular?
there.
I still
There's
feel
like-
like
Oh, here we go. This is a bit clearer. He said, look, the guru said nothing is by accident.
Okay.
There is a strict plan. So I was looking at it a bit that, because I'm reasonably deep myself over many years because I'm old. And that, I sort of understand that, like, there's a deeper level that we can't understand, that it's happening. There's something magnificent happening, that, where it can change a flower to look like an insect, so the insect mates with it, but it's actually pollinating a flower. I mean, there's something brilliant about that you can't even understand how nature did that, So what he's saying is that everything is happening. And like I said, if I go back to that teacher, he said it must be right because it's a part of nature. So look, the point I'm getting out there, I know I can see you getting a little bit lost there. I'm getting a little bit lost myself. But, you know, that everything's happening for a reason. Is your life useless? That's the question. Is your life useless? You've come here, you're teaching people. You want to get a job. You just gave up some work. You're doing snazzy radio stuff. Is it a waste of time? There it is.
No,
is your life a waste of time?
No.
Well, I'm doing it so I won't waste my time. You get what I'm saying? I'm doing it so I become a useful person. Like, it's all a process, you know? Like, I'm not going to obviously just, like, instantly become, I'm useful all of a sudden. It's like a process of getting yourself there, you know? The self-development and stuff
Your
like that.
conscience is driving you.
Yeah,
Your
pretty
thinking
much.
is
I hope
driving.
everyone else is like that too, you know? Like, who else is there to drive you other than your own self-conscious, you know? Get what I'm saying?
You're perceiving it as
Yeah.
you go. You know, you can walk into a room, you can be in a class. It was hot in that class today. I mean, it's not the best environment for communication. And you're feeling all these ups and downs. You're feeling these dynamics, but you're perceiving through it,
Yeah.
you know, and you're moving along. You know, we pick everybody's, you know, we're intelligent. We can pick stuff up. What do you think about that?
I think it's desperately hard to find meaning in your life, and I think, you know, the things, well, hopefully people do, you try and put your all into it to find some sort of sense of self, some sort of sense of self. That was a real Essie sentence. Yeah, it's quite hard. It would be so cool if people actually, you know, were connected to the environment and did those, you know, lived how so many Indigenous people did, you know, rather than, you know, because they believed they weren't a person in the world but were part of the environment. Whereas
it's
you're
very
not now.
interesting.
We live in a concrete jungle where everyone has to get their needs met real fast, have to get smart to earn this, to have meaning. You know, I have to do all these things. Suddenly you're on death's bed.
Actually, you know what? Your good point with the Indigenous people. I saw a documentary about a month ago where they came out into an area out in the outback, set up all these fires, smoke, and they were actually able to make it rain. There's a specific way they did it. The clouds had to be a certain way, passed down. To me, that was a supernatural act. Like you said, I mean, this is the other thing. I mean, that's a piece of perceiving the puzzle.
But that's like
the puddle.
decimated knowledge and people.
What's that?
That's a decimated culture, and with so much knowledge destroyed by
But
settlers. And now people are trying to find meaning in their privileged existence.
yeah. What do you think about that? Is your life a waste of time? Oh, I've heard you speaking.
No. No, it's not. Yeah, it's good. I think it's not a waste of time. I do lots of things. I drink tea, green tea. I watch
Some of your news stories are pretty amazing.
I watch anime. I like writing. I like yoga. I love eating bread. Oh, that's, you know, so I think there's lots of stuff. Oh, what's wrong? Don't,
No, I
Amy.
thought the one on
Finding
ties
Ways,
was
Amy.
interesting. Yeah, I've got a
The
lovely
ties.
selection. Of,
Yeah, one day we'll do the Thai story as well. So I think those
I love
things
that. I'm
give my
looking forward
life
to that
meaning.
story.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, let's just quickly move on. Everybody's got to get going. Let's just rattle through a few things here because this list here, you know, I tried to get it down, but, you know. Okay, so a guy will reveal himself or, you know, okay, that's a complex one. Materialistic reputation. The future. What's the future? What is the future?
You need to know the past to know the future, really. And I'm not interested in history, so I guess I don't know the future,
Whoa.
you know.
What do you mean by the future? It seems like a philosophical
Well,
concept.
what do you see in the future? Well, to me, I think that like, you know, actually one of the people in this street interviews and that, while his partner was pulling away, as soon as she heard the word religion, he was screaming out, "We need to have pain." He said it quite a few times. It's quite clear he wanted to speak. He said that pain was really important. He, you know, going back to that question, why are people leaving? Why particularly younger people, why are they leaving? And he said they haven't had enough pain. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Well, I do believe that pain's an important part of life. That's what makes you grow, you know? Like, if you're always in a comfortable stage and, like, you're, you know, rainbow's unicorn, comfortable, blah, 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 then, like, you're never going to, like, strive to be better. You're always going to be comfortable in that same place. So I guess, like, pain, rejection, you know, all that kind of stuff.
All the good stuff.
All that
It's
kind
almost
of
like
stuff
a Buddhism sort
makes
of stuff.
you
Yeah,
better,
that's
though.
it.
Don't you agree,
Suffering,
Jeremy?
Suffering,
Yeah.
has said the Buddha. Life is suffering.
Yeah, life is suffering.
Okay, let's go death.
Death.
What happens?
You die?
Well,
Whoa.
I don't know. Are you saying us have even the like a perceived afterlife?
Is it important
I
to know, do we have to have a promise that we're going somewhere? That seems to be, the carrot, isn't it?
as in you when you die you go somewhere.
I feel like that's only for religious people. I think what happens when you die is exactly the thing that happened before you were born. You know, eternity of nothingness.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
agree.
that's what logic makes sense to me. Like, I feel like people think, oh, it's either heaven or hell. That's like a whole structure that people came up with. So you do better in life, so you get to go to a heaven, which no one knows exists. But it's just like the whole point of saying to yourself, oh, I'm going to go to heaven. I'm going to be a good person.
You think
So,
about that?
Yeah.
So before you were saying you don't believe anything, but then suddenly you've...
No.
feel-
I think that's what other people think by
Oh.
saying oh, heaven and hell exist. I personally believe that when we die, it's the exact same thing as what happened before we were born, which is eternity of nothingness. That's what makes sense to my logic.
Can I just say, just before it goes around the panel, I actually feel that to know that someone doesn't exist anymore, I can I'm thinking about my first girlfriend died at 52. It's nice to actually remember a person, but the fact that I sort of think, well, she doesn't exist anymore, and there's something almost, I don't want to use the word beautiful, but there's something